Okay, here we are, the fourth poem in the sequence, A Kill. So we've gone through a number of these sort of Crow origin stories, right? He's just been admitted through the womb door, and now here's the first thing that happens after being admitted through the womb door. Okay, um, I will tell you guys, there's a number of parts of many of these poems where I'm not entirely sure what to make of it. Sometimes, that happens with poetry, and you do your best with it. So I won't, I can't say that I'll be able to clarify everything in this poem or in several of the others, but I will make an effort. All right. So, um, a kill, I think what's interesting about that is the fact that it starts, it's sort of the first activity after the birth, is now a kill. And we, uh, we see here a sequence. And I think, it's really important to pay attention to these verbs as we go through this sequence. Flogged lame with legs, shot through the head with bald brains, shot blind with eyes, nailed down by his own ribs, strangled just short of his last gasp by his own windpipe, clubbed unconscious by his own heart. Oh man, things don't sound good at all. Um, what's going on here with this creature? What's happening to it? Um, it sounds like it's on the verge of death, right? Seeing his life stabbed through him, a dream flash as he drowned in his own blood, dragged under by the weight of his guts, uttering a bowel emptying cry which was his roots tearing out of the bedrock atom, gaping his mouth and letting the cry rip through him as at a distance, and smashed into the rubbish of the ground, he managed to hear, faint and far, "It's a boy." And then everything went black. Wow. So notice nowhere in this poem has the word crow been mentioned. So I don't know that we can assume that this is about crow. In fact, it sounds like the birth of a child, right? Um, I mean, certainly it comes right after the birth of Crow, right? The examination at the womb door, and now maybe, if we're talking in the sequence, this would be actually being birthed. So first you got examined at the womb door, and now you got birthed. Yet it's called a kill, and certainly it seems like the being born is as brutal as being killed. And certainly, if you've ever seen a birth of a mammal, it's an incredibly difficult process. You certainly feel it when you're there during a birth that you are really on the verge of life or death. I mean, things could go either way in that moment, and sometimes something's going to result at the end of that, a life or a death. For one or more people is going to happen. So I think all this is sort of the experience of what is happening to the boy while it's being born, and all that happens to him is he manages to hear something being said, which is that a birth has happened, a sort of celebratory moment, but then everything went black, and we see again that repetition of black. So what has happened here? Has the boy lost consciousness? Usually infants don't open their eyes for at least a little while after being born, so perhaps it's simply, um, that he doesn't see, but he's been through this extraordinary process of being born, um, and this is where it ends up. So that's my attempt to try to make sense of this poem, A Kill. Um, we'll look forward in class to trying to make sense of it together.